So G42 is, if you haven't heard that letter and those two words together, maybe you haven't been reading the news enough, especially the global news about technology, artificial intelligence, geopolitics. So we're really fortunate here at the Next 3 Billion in Semafor to have with us Ali Dalloul, the CEO of G42 USA. And Ali is spearheading G42's competitiveness as a global AI leader, formerly one of the top executives at Microsoft. So really thrilled to be here. Maybe just one quick second on G42 for those who don't understand the import of your company and its role in the world of technology right now.
Yeah, Justin, I mean, first of all, thank you for having me here. It's always super exciting to be at Semafor events, very energizing, and thank you for the distinguished audience. So G42.ai is an Abu Dhabi-based company headquartered in Abu Dhabi in the UAE with global expansion, where we are now leading our expansion into the Americas out of the US here. And our focus really is to build global AI factories and infrastructure, agentic AI applications. And we also, are a conglomerate that runs, a variety of different businesses under our umbrella, including, satellites, healthcare services, robotics, consumer messaging, microlending. But the primary focus, really kind of the main thrust of the company is, global at-scale AI infrastructure in a very sustainable, safe, secure, and responsible manner that helps us move into the AI age.
Thank you. So at the heart of any AI company's scaling or growth, which is in the headlines every single day, obviously the hype or the excitement, whether it's warranted or exaggerated, at the heart of these companies and their images is really this question of trust. Trust in the technology, trust among businesses, among consumers, among governments that are regulating. Where do you see this question of trust, given where AI is today and where it's headed?
Yeah, I mean, Justin, I think it's a super important, a very profound question. It's multidimensional. Let me first set the context of the world we're living in today and kind of the realities. I think first is, we are now in a world where adoption and acceleration is days, hours, weeks versus months and years. And if you look at, since the dawn of humanity, what I call, scale shock systems have always been either natural disasters. So humans have dealt with earthquakes, floods, and what have you. Or they've dealt with biological scale shock systems like viruses, more recently the pandemic. And those have been historically the fastest growth, scale systems that humans have ever experienced. So take COVID, with all the unfortunate events. COVID took 13 months to get to 100 million infections. So that's a year and a month. It took ChatGPT 60 days.
60 days.
60 days. It took landlines 75 years to reach 100 million users. It took Facebook 4. It took the internet 7 from the day the browser was introduced, 30 from the day the internet was invented. The point I'm trying to make is, in biological natural systems, there's physical friction. In digital scale systems and platforms, there is no friction. And the diffusion rate of these technologies is so fast, is so rapid. I don't want to say they're unstoppable, but they are faster scale than anything we've seen. Therefore, the question of trust is fundamental, absolutely fundamental. Why? Because the adoption rate that we are seeing right now, because of what we call this diffusion of these technologies, brings about multiple questions. Questions of trust in the systems, what we call alignment, which is, are these systems aligned with human values? Meaning, will they do as they're told, or will they do as what is meant by the human to do? And then, of course, governance and incentive alignment, right? So when you look at, what needs to be done to establish trust, and for these technologies to help the human race advance, and that is a commitment we have at G42 to make sure that we are helping the human race advance in a responsible, sustainable, and safe manner. It is very important that there are multiple things that have to be in place. First, there's a technology dimension. And in technology, there are a lot of different things you can do. For example, without getting extremely technical about it, you could do what we call test time transparency. You could have what are called system cards and model cards, just like you have food labels for AI, for food, sorry. You would have these labels for AI. You could do constraints where you have a human in the loop. You could do recourse, which is report and recall. You could have a lot of different mechanisms, but technology is not enough. The second part is you have to have the right policies and the right regulatory frameworks. You don't want to over-regulate. You don't want to under-regulate. You want to have the dialogue we're having here, and you want to have a very rich conversation with policymakers and regulators. But again, that is not enough. You need now to have corporate governance, corporate incentives, and as per the prior discussion we had early in the day, these incentives, even at the corporate level, have to have economic sense. Incentives only work and behaviors only change when the economics work within the open markets, right? And then the last part is you have to have a social contract and negotiation. I will close with, there's a very good book by Francis Fukuyama about trust. And it's a bit dated book, and I'm not going to get into the broader political science behind it, but he talks about high trust societies and low trust societies. And high trust societies, such as the US, have been able to build very large organizations at scale and globally, dominate, for lack of a better word, and low trust societies have not been able to succeed. And in AI, this cannot be more important. You have to establish a social contract of humans and systems where you are in a high trust society and you trust these systems. You would not go and get medicine from an unlicensed pharmacist. You would not trust your house electricity to an unlicensed electrician. Why would you trust an agent to prescribe medicine for you if it's not licensed from a technological point of view with all the right safety mechanisms? So let me pause there because there's a lot more to elaborate on.
Just one very quick follow-up on that, which is, does the rapid adoption, the historically rapid adoption, infer that there is a trust?
Fantastic question. I think two things. I'll give you a metaphor that right now might seem a rhetorical metaphor, but 15 years ago, 20 years ago when I was still at Microsoft, we had these intense debates about location tracking. Okay, and now it sounds like cliche, like, what do you mean? Of course, okay, like, really? Like, who talks about? Well, back then it was a big deal. But, what was the argument? The argument was people vote with their own feet and with their own wallet when the benefit is greater than what they're giving away. So if you're giving away your location and the benefit is you get an Uber, I'm oversimplifying it, or you get your cup of coffee, or you get to your hotel, or you get to, God forbid, you're going to an emergency room, you get to the hospital quickly, it's worth giving up my location. So the diffusion rate here is a function of two things. First, these technologies are transformative. They are borderline magical. I'm not saying it in a hyperbolic way. Now, technically, they are statistical systems of pattern matching. That's the truth, okay? That said, the utility value of these systems for the price point you are getting is enormous. So when you have that economic incentive, as I said, and you have that lack of friction, remember, biological systems naturally have physical proximity friction. Digital systems have no friction. They have massive diffusion. You bring these two things together, they're going to spread. It doesn't mean they're trusted. Doesn't mean they're trusted. It means they're trusted enough to provide the utilitarian value.
Okay.
Make sense?
That makes tons of sense. So, I mean, one of your roles, or the technology industry's roles, is actually in devising the language and the communication on how you explain AI and the transparency around it. That's a huge responsibility. How do you and G42 think about improving the way that you explain AI and the transparency around it?
It's a great question as well, Justin. I mean, first, I think it's an industry-wide responsibility, and G42 is a member of the tech industry globally and takes that responsibility very seriously. I'll just say first, what we're doing and hopefully that would answer part of the question, but I'll elaborate in a second. So our vision for our global AI factories and global infrastructure is called the intelligence grid. And it's a simple metaphor to the electric grid. Today we're in this room, we're in this world, we owe the modern world to electricity. And the global grid for the electricity was built over 100 years ago. But believe it or not, till this day, there's over 10% of the global population that does not even have electricity. More than 700, 800 million people don't have electricity. More than 2 billion people don't even have a phone. They don't even have access to the internet. So our vision of an intelligence grid is similar to the global infrastructure build-outs over time in humanity. The electric grid, the telecommunication grid, the railroads, the highways, the roads, the bridges that brought humans together. We believe we're entering the intelligence age, and every human should benefit from this intelligence at the lowest economic unit cost, safely, sustainably, responsibly, and compliantly. And the way we are building this infrastructure is adhering to these principles. That's number one. Number two, we are trying to do everything we can collectively with the industry, both and with governments, both with public sector as well, with academia, to really foster the dialogue on what more can be done. Because for us to represent our brand and to provide that benefit and value to society, it is our core duty to be providing a service that is trustworthy and responsible. So we do that. The third thing we do is we partnered with Microsoft, which is a shareholder in G42 and a strategic partner, to establish the Responsible AI Institute in Abu Dhabi, which looks at governance and implementation and deep use cases understanding and the broader implications of AI, what principles we need to lay down, what standards we need to have. And we have aligned our internal governance and incentives to make sure that our people behave in the right manner, and we publish a lot. Like our latest model, K2, which is a world model that's picking up a lot of great momentum and adoption in the market, which is a partnership between G42 and MBZ, Mohammed bin Zayed AI University in Abu Dhabi, is open sourced. Fully open sourced, fully available for anybody to test and try, and to give us feedback. If the model is not behaving in the right manner, we are transparent about it. We would like to know, because we want that to happen at that level so that we have a participatory process in the market.
Very quick 15-second answer since we run out of time. As we move towards agentic AI, will these AI technologies meet people where they are, as opposed to forcing them to leave the communities that they're in?
Fantastic question.
15 seconds.
Yes, 15 seconds. So I would say AI is moving from answering things to acting on our behalf. That's the agentic part. That part requires deep trust, because if agents have agency, then they need to be trusted. That said, companies such as ourselves and the broader tech industry actually need to meet the next 3 billion where they are in their own platforms. You do not need to be forced to go outside of your day-to-day applications or modalities of user interfaces to be able to use AI. So if you're in SMS, AI should be in SMS. If you are in WhatsApp, AI should be in WhatsApp. If you are in whatever application or device you use, that's how you meet people, and that's how you build trust, and that's how you empower them, and that's how you bring them along in a global world.
Great. Well, Ali Dalloul, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Fascinating conversation. Thank you.
Thank you.